Good morning, Dr. Nicole and fellow classmates. Today I'm going to present about our first assignment in case study project. So here is our table of content and here's our research plan. So for the topic, we got furniture spatial organization, and the research title is Compact Living and its Spatial Organization. The purpose of our research is to identify the spatial organization of a furniture limited living space. And the aim of research is to understand spatial organization and spatial relation. Objective of the research is to find out the effort to achieve comfortable compact living. For the introduction, I'm going to introduce you to spatial organization with two subtopics. The first one is organizing space in architecture with four methods. This is the first one, space within the space. It means a larger space connect with a smaller space and help it define each of their boundaries, and it may contain within the volume of a larger space. Interlocking space. So the interlock check relationship is the result of both volume being nested and the result of area shared in space, while the two spaces work together this way, which maintain its spatial identity. Adjacent space means that two spaces may share a common border, so this relationship will allow the space to clearly define and respond to specific functional or symbolic requirement of each species. Space linked by the common space is almost similar to the previous one, but the difference is the two spaces may rely on the intermediary space for their relationship.
Another subcategory for furniture spatial organization is spatial relations. It is discussed in three categories. The first addresses the spatial relationship between furniture and human. The second category addresses the spatial relationships between furniture and interior space. And the third talks about the spatial relationships between various components of furniture. Moving into spatial relationship between human and furniture, it is discussed in two aspects, anthropometry and ergonomics. The word anthropometry was derived from the Greek word. Anthropos means human and metron means measure. Anthropometry is a science that deals with the measurement of size, weight, and proportions of the human body. The human form comes in many different shapes and sizes, and designing furniture to accommodate people in whatever capacity requires a working knowledge of the interaction between design objects or spaces and the ultimate users. The anthropometric data are data on different human body size and shape. It is collected in two categories. First, structural or static dimension. These are measurements with the body in a still or fixed position, for example, stature or height, weight, and head circumference. Second, functional or dynamic dimension. These are measured with the body engaged in various work postures, indicating the range of motion of individual body segments. No two humans are exactly alike. That's a common saying in the field of anthropometry. The factors that vary anthropometric data include the intra-individual factor, our age. Next, inter-individual, which is the gender and ethnic origin. We also have circular or generational variability, and this means, for instance, that we are evolving. It is important for us designers to consider these variables in influencing body size and adjust the design according to our user. I'm going to show a few examples in the next few slides. Let's look at this human growth curve. You can see that body dimensions generally increase from birth to early 20s, remain constant to around age 40, and decline afterward into old age as part of the normal aging process. Gender is also a main factor influencing human body dimensions. For example, from this normal distribution curve, you can see that men are generally taller than women at most percentiles. Nationalities and cultures differ in body sizes. For instance, Asians tend to be somewhat shorter on average than Northern Americans, while certain cultures from the southern Sudan tend to be taller. As you can see from this colorful map, the taller people tend to be in the very northern areas. Last but not least, time or generation. The average size of people has been increasing over the years. This is so perhaps because of better diet, medical care, hygiene, and living conditions. These are some of the important dimensions for us designers while designing a furniture or space. For example, we can see on the seated position, it is crucial to pay attention on the user's knee height and other tight height to calculate the minimum clearance needed under the table. The data collected is usually presented as a frequency or normal distribution curve. This graph is important in calculating a dimension suitable for a large population, as accommodating the top or bottom 5% can prove unnecessarily difficult and expensive. The detailed calculation is written in the report. The good news is, to make our life easier, these are the tables with all the dimensions needed while designing a furniture or space. While designing for furniture that will not critically affect the user's safety, the designs are usually just to accommodate the people within the 5th percentile and the 95th percentile. This is to reduce the manufacturing cost. However, while designing safety components such as fire doors, the dimensions of the whole population needs to be taken into account. Ergonomics is the study of the interaction of humans and the design world. The word ergonomics was derived from the Greek word ergon, which means work, and nomos, which means law. It's essentially the laws of work or science of work. The knowledge in anthropometry can also be limiting, as designing is not just about proportion, scale, or ease of movement. There are health and safety issues involved. This is where ergonomics comes in place. The ergonomics process systematically identifies ergonomic hazards and puts in place control measures to reduce risk factors. This process is done in 4 steps. First is to assess the risk by conducting an ergonomic assessment. Next, plan improvements, which is to prioritize jobs to be improved, identify effective improvement ideas, and the cost needed. The progress are then constantly measured and in the end, scale solutions by establishing a common set of tools. True ergonomic design aims to fit the product to the user. It is important for us designers to look into the anthropometry of human while considering the ergonomics. This diagram shows the relationship between human and furniture for a standard workspace commonly found in residential spaces. So, why is ergonomics important for us? At its core, ergonomics is really about building a better space for users. When jobs are designed to match the capabilities of people, it improves users' involvement while working, as they does not experience fatigue and discomfort. This results in better work being produced, as the space becomes more work efficient, as it allows for good posture, less exertion, frequent motions, and better heights and reaches. It creates a better experience for the person doing it. By systematically reducing ergonomic risk factors, you can prevent direct cause of an injury or damage in furniture. And so, ergonomics creates a better safety culture.
Moving on to spatial composition of furniture and interior spaces. Furniture is an important element to setting up an aesthetic in a certain room or spaces. A good spatial composition of furniture and interior spaces brings comfortable to the users and help define the purpose of the room. It says that correct composition of furniture will bring a smoother sequence for user while using it. For example, most of the user in kitchen will reach fridge first, after fridge will be kitchen worktop, then only move to the cooking stove. And here, this is some example on how a good spatial composition helps define the interior spaces and make the spaces more organized. After spatial composition, let's look into spatial relationship between various components of furniture. Some of the furniture included external components. Those components included power sockets, switches, door handles, drawer, and others. The position of the components should be organized and placed in correct. It is to avoid any inconvenience and emergencies happen. And here is the component sample on some furniture. Moving on to problem statement. Compact living has become a trend in this modern era. Therefore, we are going to investigate on what reason cause people would like to choose compact living. After some research from internet, we found that first reason is because the population is increasing, and this phenomenon also triggered demand exceeds the supply. Second reason is expensive and insufficient land. Global financial crisis is one of the reasons caused people change to compact living, because small house is more economical and low energy consumption. The third reason is people focusing more on functional use rather than the big house. They want something that able to make their life simple and convenient without spending too much on money. But how to achieve a comfortable compact living? First is implementing innovative storage solution. Second is select furniture that doubles as storage. Third is designer can explore vertical interior design planning. Fourth is sliding door and windows. And the last one is choose multifunctional furniture.
Moving on to our first case study of compact living, it's a Budapest studio flat by a Hungarian firm. It is designed by the architect from there and it is 30 square meters with one main room and one bathroom. The design is minimal contemporary and the current function is a rental apartment in Airbnb. For the living room, the furniture is minimal with a white color and the opening position of the door give a natural light and ventilation for the area. And the frame of the opening is a little bit too thick that it reduces a little bit of contemporary look. For the kitchen, that is built in with a white color to bring contrast with the wood, and for the wall, it is built in pegboard. And the design adopt modularity and simplicity at the same time. And the material that used is simple that it create a clean look for the area.
Moving on to the case study 2, a tiny apartment by Taiwanese studio, a little design. It is a piano studio before redesigned into a residential house. The size is 7.6 square meter and the ceiling height is around 3.4 meters. Before the renovation start, they found out this tiny apartment is hard to fit a big bed and it is lack of storage and the kitchen is too small. Therefore, they decided to fully utilize the wall and use more built-in space-saving furniture. They designed the whole wall with a wide built-in cabinet. Besides that, they also create a reading corner on the window wall and add a storage under the seats. Not only that, the space under the staircase also designed into an additional storage also. Of course, the ventilation and natural lighting in the living room stay good. Move on to the kitchen. Most shelves and cabinets were added into it. Small items can store on the shelves and big items can store on the cabinet that mounted on the ceiling. In conclusion, on case study 2, a little design studio explored a lot of vertical design ideas and implemented a lot of innovative storage solutions. Not only that, the whole sequence in the tiny apartment is smooth and comfortable for the user.
This research has shown that the relationship between the perception of interior space and furnishing is much more complex than just filling in the space with furniture. The spatial organizations discussed develop both an analytic and a perceptual understanding while designing a space. As living in a minimal space with a minimalistic furniture has been a trend to millennials nowadays, it is important to design new, innovative furniture to accommodate their needs, as normal traditional bulky furniture might not be suitable for this generation anymore. Based on the research, the effort needed to achieve comfortable compact living is by understanding the role of spatial organization and spatial relationship and implementing the knowledge while designing a furniture or space. That wraps up our presentation for today. This is a Gantt chart for our group, and this is the reference list for all the information we use in this presentation. That's all from us. Thank you.